So, many months ago, I built this little toe kick to go in the van. And it was part of my What is Wookie Up To Now little video series. And I want to mention one thing that I forgot to mention in my previous video, and that is that while it has been a bit inconvenient to have to take everything out and then replace the floors and put everything back in, there is a blessing to this, and that is the fact that it's forced me to pay attention to the little details, the little fixes that I've needed to take care of and just hadn't gotten around to. And then it also helped me see that and discover that there are other issues that have needed to be addressed that I was not aware of. One of the things that I did need to address and I was well aware of and just simply didn't do anything about it because I was trying to work on other things is my fireplace enclosure. The right side, if you're facing the fireplace enclosure, that whole cabinet, the right side where there's extra storage, that side panel was actually cut incorrectly. So I actually ended up making a new template. Well, I should say that I made a template to attach to the side panel that was pre-existing that from the original build of that cabinet. And I was able to use that to cut out a new piece, and then I installed that. So now the cabinet is shaped, well, I don't want to say perfectly, but as close to that as I can get with what I've got. So there's been some blessings to this whole process. It's just been, it's about seeing the positive side of things. So just one thing I wanted to mention. So this toe kick is going to go underneath the fireplace. One thing I did also notice, I forgot to mention, is that this toe kick, while it's built pretty much perfectly square, this wheel well is not necessarily as consistent as this 4-inch toe kick. I've noticed that there's about a 1/2 inch difference in order to make the fireplace enclosure level, to make that whole cabinet level. So all I did was take a little piece of 1/2 inch plywood. I'm going to apply it to the section that's about a 1/2 inch off, and that should be good enough. And hopefully that won't have any repercussions when mounting the fireplace enclosure cabinet to the toe kick. So that's my goal for right now, is to reinstall the fireplace. Well, I guess technically the fireplace enclosure was never actually permanently mounted, so I think that's a good goal to get done today, since now everything's in pretty good shape in comparison to where it used to be overall. So yeah, that's what we're doing. Alright, this is officially mounted in place. I no longer have to use clamps like these in order to keep the fireplace fastenated. Now, and by the way, this looks so strange without its face frame. One of the things that I never did do was permanently attach the face frame to the fireplace enclosure. And the reason why is because I never did grout between the last tile, or the edge of the tile, and behind the face frame itself. So I did that. I didn't do the best job out there, but it doesn't really matter because it's never going to be seen. It's just kind of there to fill in the gap for any time that, I don't know, I do look close up and I don't want to be bothered by it. At any rate, so what I'm going to do is take some of my favorite stuff here, and that is tile adhesive, which you can get at Lowe's. And the only thing I really don't like about this stuff is that it takes 24 to 48 hours to dry, but it's really strong. It's practically the strength of using those finish nails, and you can actually, if you ever needed to, remove the tile or the face frame like this. And I've used it in the past to secure wood trims on job sites and whatnot before, where I could not use finish nails because the customer is really picky. But anyway, that's that. So one of the consequences of never having attaching the face frame to the fireplace enclosure is that it got damaged at various times prior to yesterday, when I actually just sanded it down to wood and then refinished it. Thankfully, I did not have to rebuild it. I just had to refinish it. So now it looks brand new again, and in fact, I would actually argue that it might even look better than it did prior in the first finish version prior. So, without any further ado, let's go ahead and add some tile adhesive. We'll just add it to the edges here, and then place this on, clamp it down, and wait a couple days. So let's get to work. Alright, I'll let this sit for a couple days, see how she comes out.